Welcome to Biz Alchemy, a podcast about creating a new business paradigm by women, for women. I'm your alchemical host, Jacquelyn, and I'm going to take you on an extraordinary adventure to create a business filled with ease, fun, spaciousness, and abundance. Hustle, be gone. Let's birth a new way. Welcome back. I'm always very grateful for the opportunity recording a podcast gives me to exercise my throat chakra, to empower it, to strengthen it. And this is obviously what I am talking about today. I called this podcast episode the Harmonious Throat Chakra. I was originally going to call it the Evolved Throat Chakra. And as I sat and meditated on or mused on what I wanted to talk about today, I realized that evolution comes from harmony, and that's why I changed the title, because we are going through a major evolution right now in so many ways, planetary-wise, and as well as personally. And although it may not look like it always in the 3D world, but consciousness is rising. We are evolving and consciousness is rising, which is why there is a lot of purging happening on the planet. And a part of this shifting in consciousness is that we are moving into more harmony within our energy body. And what do I mean by that? I mean the balance of yin and yang. Now, I've had many podcast episodes talking about this, so I won't list them all, but you can go back and have a look through. I realized as I sat with the energy of this topic this morning of the evolved throat chakra and how that evolution is as a result of harmony, that it's actually this harmony that allows us to move into what I talk about when I talk about a new business paradigm. The old paradigm of business is very yang. The new way of being in your business is bringing the yin energy in so that not even bringing it in, remembering it, embracing it so that yin and that yang are in harmony, so that the energy going out is in harmony with the energy coming in. Now, this is happening individually in each of our chakras. Our chakras reflect our level of consciousness. And there's no judgment here because we're all on our unique soul journey, which is why we can never compare ourselves to another. We've come in with a completely different history and a different path to tread, our unique path to tread. So it means that your chakras will hold programs, which might be beliefs or memories that are different to anyone else's. And so that's going to change the vibration of your chakra. I had quite an insight last week when I was doing my Insight Timer Live about this and about the term energy blocks. It's a term I've used often, but it's always a term that's made me cringe a little. It's never felt quite right. And it's only when I was chatting on my live last week and responding to the energy of the group on the live that I realized that those blocks, what they are, and I've said this before, they're stories and beliefs, and these create a program. They're almost like a little encapsulated program that has a certain frequency. And as we evolve and the frequency of each of our chakras changes, that program at the sort of more solid frequency that it holds impacts the frequency of the rest of the chakra, which therefore impacts the frequency of the rest of our body. And where I've often talked about clearing out those blocks, I suddenly realized it's not about clearing out the blocks. And, I can't suddenly go back and change everything I've created because that was the way I spoke to it then. But what I've realized, it's actually about loving those programs. Through loving those programs, through embracing them, we shift the vibration of the program to bring it up to the frequency of the vibration of the rest of that chakra. Whereas judging it, pushing it away, saying, I've got to let go of that, that's not coming from a place of love. And so you are holding that denser frequency there in the way that you are dealing with it, if you like. Anyway, I've gone a little bit off topic there, but it just came up. So I just wanted to share that with you as a new way of looking at what you may perceive to be blocks in chakras. See them as specific programs that have a denser vibration, and to bring that into harmony with the rest of the chakra, with the evolving chakra. It's about embracing whatever that story is through love. And the thing is, the more we embrace the yin aspect of a chakra, that's actually what helps embrace those programs that have been running in the chakra, keeping it at a lower vibe. And I talked to one of these stories in my newsletter last week, where I talked about perfectionism. Perfectionism is a story that does have a big impact on the throat chakra, since we are speaking throat today. And I explored this in my newsletter last week, so I won't go into it here. But it's just an example of a story, a program that's running and being held energetically in the throat chakra that may be stopping the throat chakra from really fully embodying a higher frequency of functioning, if you like. Now, again, I have many podcast episodes on the throat chakra, so I won't list them all here. There's nothing specific coming to mind to direct you to, but go and scan them all and see if any stand out for you, or if you want to know more about the throat chakra in relation to business in particular. But going back to what I said before, say you do have perfectionism as a program that's in your throat chakra, you would then focus on embracing the yin aspect of the throat chakra, which would actually help shift the vibration around this program as well. And it's one of those yin aspects of the throat chakra that I really want to talk with you about today, because embracing this can have a huge impact on the frequency of vibration of your throat chakra. It is a key in evolving your throat chakra into a new state of consciousness. And that yin aspect is actually what you are doing as I am speaking this podcast to you. You are listening. Listening is the major yin component of the throat chakra. And by listening, I mean truly listening. Listening to hear, not listening to speak. Deep listening that you receive. And that's the key here. It's you receiving what is being spoken to you, what is being shared with you, whether that is through another person, whether that is through your spirit guides, whether that is through Mother Earth, whether that is through your intuition. And listening is a 24/7 activity. And when our throat chakra is in that receiving mode all the time, it empowers the way we then give out, we then communicate, we then express our creativity to the world. I personally have found it really interesting this year in particular, as I have moved more into this work around receiving, and more recently sharing with you more about your soul's path. I have come to realize that the more I listen, the deeper I listen, the clearer my path is. And quite simply, the clearer your path is, the more time efficient you are. It saves you making mistakes, even though we won't call them that because they're just adventures, aren't they? They're experiences in life and business. But sometimes we could get to where we want to be without having to have those experiences. But we didn't listen. And an experience is never wasted because it encourages us then to listen more deeply next time. But appreciate that the better you become at listening, the more efficient you become in choosing the next steps to take on your path. And this is just what's been so powerful for me, especially the last 3 or 4 months. And I know it's because of the work I've been doing around receiving, because ultimately when I talk about receiving, like in the receiving channel that I have on Patreon, it's not about receiving stuff. When we first think about receiving, that's what we're often thinking about. I want to receive more money. I want to receive more clients. I want to receive more support in my business. I want to receive a tribe of like-minded individuals. But ultimately, sitting beneath that is that actually what we really want to receive is clarity. Clarity about the steps to take. Guidance around the steps to take. And this is where our listening goes to the next level. So how do you take it to the next level? How do you know that you are sort of at the fullness of your listening ability? How do you know you are listening as well as you can? Well, what you'll probably find is there are times when you already are, and there are times when you're not at all. So here's a little trick to help you identify when your listening is most active. Think about, when do you get your inspiration? Now remembering inspiration, in spirit. When are you receiving the guidance of your spirit? You receive that guidance when you're in your yin space. And so what helps to drop you into that yin space? It could be meditation. It could be when you're in the shower. It could be when you're walking, when you're gardening, when you're cooking, when you're singing, when you're dancing. It's going to be different for all of us. When do you get your inspiration? When do you get your great ideas for your business? I have 2 places. One, as you'll be very familiar with if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, is walking on the beach. That's the main place for me. That is where my inspiration drops in without fail. That is where I really, truly hear. And I think it isn't just about the beach as such. It's about the elements. It's about being in the elements. Because the other place where I do get inspiration is in the shower. That's without any intention. I'm just in the shower, and it might be just a 5-minute shower, but so often things just drop in that space. And then I'm like saying it over and over again to myself till I get out of the shower so I can actually write it down. Maybe it's the water energy. I don't know, but they are my 2 places, the shower and walking on the beach. Much more for me in those situations than in meditation. Occasionally, I can get something in meditation, but I think because meditation is so much more focused on the upper chakras, and for me, I connect into flow a lot more through my lower chakras. So I think that's why the walking in the elements really brings through the flow for me, because when I'm connected with the earth energy and that energy is moving through me, it brings me the source of my inspiration. So this places me into the yin aspect, which makes me more receptive to hear, as in HEAR. I listen more powerfully when I'm in these environments. So where do you listen more clearly, more fully? Where does the yin aspect of your throat chakra really get activated? Actually, as I'm saying that, I've just realized another one for me is definitely when I'm giving sessions. Or even the example I gave before of being in the group energy and reading the group energy and receiving the insight that I did about the chakra blocks. So when I'm in one-to-one sessions, I'm getting that all the time. I am really deeply listening, not just to my client, but the energy of my client and the inspiration that flows through me when we are in that sacred space. So yes, that's also definitely a place where I really deeply listen. And I'm sure those of you who work in a similar situation with clients would agree with me on that. That's why you are so great at what you do. So what I'd like you to take away from what I'm chatting about here is that if you are really wanting to move into the next level in your communication in your business, in the way that you are sharing your gifts to the world, the creative expression of your gifts, then it's imperative that you activate your listening energy. You activate the yin aspect of the throat chakra. The focus is so much on the yang aspect, but the yin is as important. The yin must be in harmony with the yang to allow the frequency of vibration of your throat chakra to continue to get higher. And if you are really devoted to why you came here, to your soul's path, to sharing who you are and the gifts that you have to give, then this harmony between the yin and yang of the throat chakra is vital. And if you'd like support in receiving that inspiration, in being able to listen more deeply and assimilate what you are hearing, this is what I'm supporting you with on the receiving channel on Patreon. I am guiding you through my own journey to be open to receive the guidance coming through everything that exists on and off this planet that takes us forward in our truth every moment of every day. There are an infinite number of channels that we receive our guidance through, that we receive our inspiration through, but most of them are closed because we have not learned to fully listen. If you feel intrigued about the receiving channel, if you'd like to explore it a little bit more, I'll pop the link in the show notes, or you can just go to Patreon and search Jacquelyn Atkins or the receiving channel and it will come up for you. The thing is, what I love about the Patreon membership is you can just try it out. Just join for a month, pay for a month and try it out. You get to access all the content that's been put in there so far, and you can stay in there as long as you like, as long as you are getting benefit from what's offered there. Because this podcast is being released at the beginning of the month, it's the perfect time to join because you'll pay now and then you won't pay again until the 1st of next month. I won't go through all the tiers here. I've talked about them before, and as soon as you click through on the link, you can read about each tier that's available and what each one gifts you with. I've also just created a little intro video that is now on my homepage, so you can listen to that, which will explain a little bit more. Now, what I'd also really love to know is how you listen. Like, what are those places? Like, what are those states that you're in, or what are you doing that puts you into that place of deep listening? Where do you feel inflow? Where do you get your inspiration? I'd love to hear. So if you're listening to this on a platform where you can write comments, put it in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. I just want to know, because I'm sure we are all so different. Of course, we're all so different. We're unique. But also just share it there. Or if you're listening on a particular platform where you can't leave a comment, you can send me an email at jacquelynatkins.com, and just share with me, where do you get your inspiration? What state are you in? What activity are you doing, or how are you being that really supports you to receive? I would really love to know that. And take time this week to deeply listen, to embrace the yin aspect of your throat chakra. That is the greatest gift you can receive if you are truly intent on creating a new paradigm of business, because the new paradigm of business is about using your intuition to guide every step you take in your business. Until next time, have an alchemical week in your biz. Thanks for listening to Biz Alchemy. I'm Jacquelyn Atkins. If you'd love to know more about the energy of business, join my newsletter list at jacquelynatkins.com and check out my receiving channel on Patreon at patreon.com/Jacquelyn Atkins. Until next time, enjoy creating alchemy in your biz.